Where do I even begin? I mean, these guys are 19 and 20. They just closed 13 wholesale deals last month in Columbus and Cleveland, Ohio, and they're opening a new market in Florida. That was $96,000 in assignment fees, and their costs were $30,000, which means they're both making around $360,000 a year, which is crazy to think about. I mean, that's just my favorite part of the episode. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it's crazy too. On top, they're both still going to college just because they're in it. They want to finish it out. So they're sticking to their commitments in college, which is awesome, but they're both masters in wholesaling. So they have everything ahead of them. This was really awesome.
Listen close on this one. It's humbling for me. BJ, Ethan, thanks for joining us. Was curious if you guys would describe your business to us in maybe 30 seconds.
So should I go then he goes? Or how
yeah, you can go.
Okay. So, to describe our business, we're a full-time wholesale real estate business. I started 2 years ago. We started working separately. Then we came together and started getting things going. We wholesale all over our state, which is Ohio. And then we also wholesale in Florida as well. And then right now, we're doing between like 8 and like 16 deals a month, somewhere within that frame. Yeah. So, essentially just full-time wholesalers.
Hey, it's a good thing you guys came together. Why'd you decide to do that?
It's an interesting story. So this one's going to run for a little bit, but I'll let you know. So we started off working separate when we were both 17, right? Or you were 18 at the time?
I was 18, yeah.
Okay. So we were both seniors in high school. We were both doing our own independent wholesaling. We did not know each other at said time, right? And then we started working together. You were working with another guy.
Yeah, I was working with an investor. So I was learning like ways to negotiate, ways to send out contracts, just everything with wholesaling, right? But I never really had that edge where I could kind of accelerate my criteria that I, could pull lists and know how to speak to sellers, all those kinds of things. I couldn't really enhance that performance because I was under someone. So I kind of split off. I worked with my partner, Nate. And, we kind of just got grinding from there.
Yeah. And then one of his friends that he was working with sold my parents their very first house when I was like 14, 15. So her son was also our age and he was wholesaling and stuff like that. He knew me through that relationship of her being my parents' realtor. So she introduced me to them. We were working together. I was showing them what I was doing, but then we were just doing the same thing. We were all the same age. We were like, we might as well just work together. And then we combined it, and that's where things went from there.
And so you guys said you do up to 16 deals in a month?
We'll do between like 8 and 15. Like last month we did, I think 13 deals. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Ethan, I know one of the things you just said was on your own, you didn't have the ability to like scale up that much. What was it that partnering with BJ was actually allowing you to do that?
Yeah. So when I was working, we'll just call him Jason for this point. So Jason, I was working under him. He kind of only worked in Columbus, which is a very saturated market for us for wholesaling. I'm sure you've heard of that area as well, because they were working in Cleveland. They were working in, I think, Newark. There are smaller towns around, but Cleveland obviously being a big city. And I never was able to scale out. He never wanted to work outside of Columbus and Newark and Lancaster, areas like that. So we never really were able to hit the scale that I wanted to hit, obviously, at my age. So I saw he was working in Cleveland. We reached out. Eli, he had introduced us because his parents sold their house, obviously, to him. So we reached out, and then from there, he sent me a list in Cleveland, right, with different criteria than I was used to. And I was looking through the list, and then one of my callers had gotten a deal there in Cleveland. So then we closed that one. That was our first kind of like side-by-side deal. We weren't really with each other, but like we were just working like kind of in sync. So he had sent me that, and then I closed one from there. So I was like, okay, so this Cleveland market's pretty fire. I can make a lot of money there. So we worked from there, and then yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So I get that you're saying Cleveland was less saturated than Columbus, but you said he sent you a list with different criteria than you were used to. What was the difference there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So for me, I started off wholesaling by myself, right? So I was wholesaling by myself. I never worked under anybody. I started at 17 years old. So I was learning everything like just YouTube University type of situation. So I'm learning things, and then I was jumping from different softwares. That's when I came across DealMachine. So I'm on DealMachine. I was able to really tailor down and get real specific with these lists where I'm pulling different things. So I learned like certain criteria that worked good for us. And it was like out of state owners, stuff like that. So I just gave them a good list, super tailored down. It wasn't a large one. It's like only like 1,000 leads.
Yeah.
Super tailored down. Gave him that one, was able to get a deal done on it. And the good thing, the reason why we're so heavy in Cleveland is because it's such a big Section 8 market. And I have really like big Section 8 buyers there. So we were able to get something done based on that criteria that I tailored it down to.
How does your guys' involvement in the business differentiate between the two of you? What do each of you do now?
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
So essentially all I do right now is just like oversee, and then I train the new guys that come in. So essentially the way that we run our business is teams, right? So for example, Ethan has his own team, right? His team knocks out a certain area of Ohio, right? So right now we have 4 guys that are in Christian, Avery, John, and AP. They're 4 guys that are like working right now. I'm training, working with them, so they eventually can have their own wholesale team. Well, they'll have their virtual assistants that call these areas. Once the warm or hot leads come in, they then close those deals. That's essentially what our business looks like. But I'm just training those guys, and I just oversee a lot of different deals. And then almost every deal that comes in, I try and dispo, because we sell to almost the same buyers every single time.
So in my role, I'm working, I started off, I was doing dispo for the first month or two. Just working on connecting with different buyers in our areas. And then now, like you said, I have my own team. So we have VAs in Egypt that they call 8 hours a day, right? So they're constantly cold calling, with all of this different dialers that we use. We ended up toning it down to 1. So we use that dialer, and they call 8 hours a day. And then every lead they get, I just work through it day to day. And then we just communicate with when it comes to dispoing. Because like he said, we're selling it to the same buyers pretty much. We have huge buyers in Akron, Canton, Cleveland, and they're pretty much buying everything that we get.
Yeah.
So you basically split it off based on geography.
Yeah, exactly. So every team, because essentially when we first started, at least when I first started, I realized if I can understand the market really, really well, it's easier for me. I got people's background, but it's easier for me to dispo the deal, right? Because I understand what my buyer's going to pay as soon as I look at a deal. So now it's like when I see a turnkey duplex in the 44105 zip code, I know what my buyer's paying for it, right? So I was like, okay, I want every team to have the same space. So it's like when Ethan gets a deal now, he knows this street, this is what we're selling them for. I just did a deal last week, very similar home, similar ARV. This is what I'm able to, this is how I'm able to work the situation. So I figured that puts us in better situations. So each team just has their own area in which they work in.
That makes sense. So BJ, when you said you tailor down your list more, seems like you tailor it down for what the Section 8 buyers would want to buy, right?
Exactly.
So you maybe had more filters about the total value of the house. You're probably not going on the highest end, right? So you don't even market to those houses, even if there are some rundown houses in more expensive areas. You were going more the lower end where the Section 8 would operate.
Exactly. Like another thing that I tailored down. Ethan actually pulls all the lists right now, but estimated rehab costs. DealMachine has that. No other platform has that, right? Estimated rehab cost on at least I don't think any platform has. Let me not speak incorrect, but
no, I don't think so actually.
Oh, okay. Estimated rehab cost on the house. So we have our biggest buyer out of in Cleveland is out of California. They don't like to buy heavy rehabs like at all. They like medium to no rehab at all. They actually prefer turnkey homes. So Ethan was able to go in, pull that list, put in that criteria, and then specify it. And it's like every lead that we come across is not too bad, but we're able to work with. And even in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm not sure if you guys work there, but you have ARVs as low as 110,000, 120,000. So when you have full rehabs, it's almost impossible to work.
That's the whole value of the house. That's right. Exactly. They got to give it to you for it to be a deal that makes sense.
No, exactly. So it's just really tough. So we realized, okay, let's remove that completely. And that's what we did. So little stuff like that has really gave us a competitive edge in regards to wholesaling, at least in the markets that we're in.
Yeah.
And is cold calling your main strategy for finding and getting in touch with the homeowners?
Yeah, correct. I mean, like right now we're venturing into the new AI messaging thing. We're trying that out right now. We do Facebook ads a little bit, but cold calling is almost our biggest strategy. Like we're very, very VA heavy. Like almost each team has 5 to 6 VAs that are calling.
And then, wow, you said you started this when you guys were in high school, right?
Yeah.
You look young now. How many years out of high school are we talking?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
23.
Wow.
Dang.
Class of 23. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Nah,
Thanks.
thank you.
And Ethan, I liked how you ended up working for somebody first, right? You really kind of
Mhm.
learned business there.
Yeah. So when I started, so we went to a networking event. Columbus is big on real estate networking events. They have, hundreds of them each year. So I go to those. I went to one. It was called the Elevate event, and I met a guy there, and then he kind of just, took me under his wing, showed me what wholesaling is. I had heard about it at each of the events. Obviously, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a wholesaler," right? So they explain that, but I don't know what that means at that point. So they're explaining, the 70% rule. They're explaining all that stuff to me, and I'm, it's all gibberish at this point. So I figured the best move from there was I actually started off working by myself. I was pulling my own list. We were using PropStream at that time, and we were pulling our own list. We were going to my house, my friend's house. We, in high school, obviously, and we were just after school. We'd go there and we'd start cold calling a bunch of different people in our city, right? But Columbus, obviously, a lot of these people were telling us that they were wholesaling in Columbus. So we figured that it would be good for us to get into it. Thinking back, that's probably not the smartest decision. We probably should have branched out somewhere else. But, we got one it was kind of like locked up, but the issue was it was with a realtor. So we didn't even know that much, right? Because we were on our own. So we had locked it up with a realtor. There was a small spread, and then he found out we were wholesalers and cut us out of the deal. So it was pretty, an awakening, obviously, that we didn't know what we were doing. So then we went back to another networking event, and we met the same guy, right? We talked to him again, and then he told us to just kind of, start working with him. So it was all virtual. He didn't have he had an office, but it was just for him. Obviously, we didn't go and work every day. We would just get our calls in. So we were calling like anywhere from like 250 to 500 dials is what we use Kixie. So that's what it's on. And it's 250 to 500 dials. So it calls like 4 people at a time. So, you're roughly reaching like 1,000 people, I guess, but still. So we were going through that, getting just the flow of how to talk to someone on the phone. Cause that's, the hardest part is what I would say is getting really comfortable on the phone, being able to feel motivation, feel, their urgency and see what they're looking at on each deal that they have. Home, but still. So from there, just started working with him. And then that kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier. I realized I worked with him for, 8 months, almost a year. It felt a lot longer, but still we were working with him. And then we realized that he was kind of in the wrong markets. So kind of just branched off. And then at that point I started working individually with my friend as well. And then we moved with BJ.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys partnered up, and obviously it seems like a great collaboration. We connected because I think you just moved into the bigger DealMachine account, which is like $5.99 a month, and it lets you export up to 150,000 properties and their homeowners and phone numbers records per month. So are you guys using all of that data right now, or are you planning on growing into that?
Yeah,
we actually need more.
Yeah. Like literally, like
we're
right
gonna
now,
have to order more. Yeah.
Like right now we're capped already.
We just used, I think it's at 149 of the 150. So we pulled a lot. We just had a new guy. We forgot to mention we had a new guy 2 weeks ago. He just started with us, and he's only pulling Florida. Yeah. So we were doing the same criteria, but in Florida, obviously adjusting for the higher ARVs. And, fitting our estimated rehab, everything, just getting really toned in with the lists. Exactly. But I would say, you had pulled kind of just the broad categories with the list. Once I kind of came in, obviously he oversees most of it, especially our finances and everything like that. With him being a finance major, he understands it a lot better. So at that point, from there, I kind of just dove into DealMachine. I looked up, I really, to be honest, I looked up free skip tracing, right? Because I was like, I'm not paying 7 cents or whatever it is on PropStream. I think it was 7 or 12. I'm like, I'm not paying that much each account. So let me see if one has it. And then the first one that popped up was DealMachine. It said free skip tracing, included with the account. And I signed up that day. I did the free trial. I was like, Nate, my partner at that point, I was like, yeah, we have to, really lock in with this. But that was when we were separate. Obviously, he had already been using it. So then when we collabed, we realized that he was already using it. He had used really broad ones, though. Once I dove in, I saw all the different criteria you could do. It was crazy. So I was really impressed by it. And that's why we just kept pulling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I mean, 7 cents per record with 150,000 records would be $10,500, right? So you
Yeah,
guys can export that much every month for $5.99 essentially. So,
exactly.
but how is the accuracy? Have you guys used
Oh
other
yeah.
data before?
Yes,
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
used
yeah, we have.
PropStream,
We use
everything.
PropStream,
Yeah.
PropWire. I've literally used everything imaginable. Now the accuracy is really good. Like just on Monday, one team he only has 3 callers, mind you. One team he got 15 leads in one day,
Wow.
right? So
He actually got 22 yesterday.
exactly.
So yeah,
So
that one was killing it.
yeah,
The thing that is such a difference too is I feel like when we were calling on PropStream, PropWire, all those different areas, and we were pulling lists from there, you would call and you'd say, "Hey, is this Jason or whoever this is?" And it's not the right person, right? When on DealMachine, the second I pulled the first list, we saw the right people. Like my callers in Egypt, they were texting me. They were like, "Man, these are great lists. This is the person." Every time I say, "Hey, is this John?" It's John. They said.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, then yeah.
Because
So
that's
we
the big
upgraded
thing.
at that point, yeah.
That's the big thing. Like even if they don't want to sell their house, at least speaking to the correct person, you know what I mean? That goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Yeah, man.
Is there a specific list or specific criteria that you guys find more effective than others?
Yeah, I'll let Ethan do it. It's real specific.
Yeah. So it's so many, I honestly don't even remember it off the top of my head. But what I do is each of your quick filters, right? I go in and I make them, because I don't do match all, right? Because it's too small of a list. So I make my own section of each one. So I'll go on, right? And I do the and or. When I found that it has the and or, that's when it kind of took it to the next level. I couldn't even realize that you could do that. So I saw that. I moved it from, so I have like tax delinquent, right? And then I make sure it's the phone number, that they have a phone number, and that they have an email, I think is what I do usually. And then making sure that it's likely the property owner. Right. So I make sure every single one of them has that. Then I put the rehab estimate in each category and I do or. And it's like, I think there's like 45 filters on there.
Wow.
So it's every single time, it's everything together. I think in an area like Cleveland, if I narrow that down, it pulls like 12,000 to 15,000, which is plenty because then we can use that. That takes, that only lasts us probably 2 or 3 weeks, but still we're using all those, and then I can even go in and switch it so that it's, out of state owners, senior owners. I do everything. So I just any list you have on there for the quick filter, I just make it my own kind of so that I can hit everything together. And then I add like 5 cities. I think it lets you do 5. I keep forgetting if it's 5 or 4, but I usually do 4 because we pull in 4s. But
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no.
And what other calling is your?
Ethan's like a DealMachine fanatic.
Oh, I know. I love hearing that you're using the and or filters. I wanted to give you one tip you might not realize is, let's say you did last sale date is at least 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What you want to do is you want to say, or last sale date is unknown, because some counties, they didn't record stuff like 30 years ago. Right. And so that's in our database as no date for the sale. And you want to include that because that would definitely be over, 3 years ago. So, and then you probably figured this out, but so you basically want to group those 2 filters together with an or, and then you want to put an and on the top and bottom, right? Because it's you want to say it's at least 3 years ago or unknown, and then and also the rehab estimate is any of these values. You'll bring in some more properties that you and probably other people aren't reaching to that don't have a sale date because the county didn't record it that long ago.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. So let me ask you for that. So on that, how do you add that? Would I put sale date unknown on each section? Because I'm doing like an and. So it's like tax delinquent, the estimated rehab, sale date, and then it's like contact, just the basic stuff just to clean it up, make sure that we're hitting the people that have phone numbers, and also like making sure it's likely the property owner. When I just clean it up, obviously, but still, how do I add it on there? You're saying just add the unknown on each one then?
Yeah, I'm going to show you right now, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's say just got Denver, Colorado called up here. Okay. And so you're doing contact has a phone number. Yes. Yep. Contact.
Yeah, I just type in like likely.
Contact is likely the property owner. Yep. Yes. And then so we'll do now. Okay. So now we want to change the bottom one to an and we'll say and last sale date is more than 3 years ago, because that's what we said earlier. And so now you see how it's grouped these together, and now because I used the bottom one, it's now grouped this together. So I want to make an or within this group. It's like math class when you have parentheses, you have to do order of operations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, so the grouping together is like parentheses. You do that first. So we'll do last sale date is unknown, and so that's the proper execution of what I was describing. And then then you could do your rehab estimate, which does look like you. Oh yeah, is this what you use? Rehab estimated repair costs?
Yeah.
I think I was doing that, but I tried square footage for a little bit. We had talked about that, but I think we're doing, just that works.
Okay.
So for each one, I guess I was getting confused then on the and. So for what I was doing is I would have all of those together, right? So I didn't realize that they would. So I guess I'm getting confused. So this on the sale date and the unknown, right? Can I put that has to be applied right under whichever one it's at?
Well, they just have to be grouped together, right? Because the or, it's going to say anything that's over 3 years ago or is unknown. And then together, that's what you want to have for your sale date condition, right? But you also want it to have all this stuff too. So you just want to group this together because you're like 3 years ago or unknown. That's like one thing. That's one set of criteria.
Okay.
And then all this other stuff. Yeah. So here, let me do another one. So let's say we want to do square foot. Let's say we want to do living square foot is less than 2,500 feet, because I don't know. I mean, you're not going to Section 8 a mansion, most likely, right? Yeah. So here's another instance where, okay, now within its own group, we might want to include properties that also have living area unknown. And so you look, it's like 106,000 properties right now. And let's add a few properties that maybe have the living area unknown. Let's see if that's additional properties. Oh no, it's not. So it doesn't really matter in this case, but let's say a county just didn't record the living area for a certain property.
We actually see
that does happen sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So these are grouped together as like one little chunk. So that's how you'd properly use the or condition and bring in the unknown value for something like sale date.
Okay. So I would have to put that. Would I put the sale date and the unknown? Would I put that under each like section I have that has to require all ands together, or would I just have to put it at the end?
Well, it doesn't matter if it. Yeah. So here's okay. Do you see how it's within this little grouping? It's like within a parentheses, within a group, right? So if you add the or at the very end, that's not what you want, because now you're going to say it's all this stuff, or you could just include any property with the owner type, owner occupied. I mean, that is not what you want, right? You're not looking for all this stuff, or is it just owner occupied and forget all the other stuff, right? That's not what you want. See, now it just added 280,000 properties because it's including anything that's owner occupied. And if it's owner occupied, that's the only thing you need to include it, since we put the or on the outside, right? So you want to make sure the or is on the inside of these groupings.
I see. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. I didn't even realize that you had it inside. Okay. That's perfect. Yeah.
A lot of
cool things.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So to conclude, hopefully that made sense. Appreciate you asking the questions on that too, because it does allow you to bring in extra properties that don't have that sale date, for example.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Well, cool. So yeah, if you guys want more data, we have that ability to add 2 accounts to the same login. So if you want, we could chat about adding that a second account as well.
Okay. All right, perfect.
So how many cold callers in Egypt does it take to go through 150,000, records in a month? Which is basically where you guys are at right now.
There's like 6 of them a team, and we have
3 teams.
Well, yours. I mean, I guess count the in guys too.
Okay.
Because we have in-person guys as well, so I'm counting them as well. Let's do 4.
So 4, 10, 16, 24, 30. We got 30. 30.
And we'll be good for the month from there. But yeah, we had to pull a huge amount in Florida because that was the first we've pulled in there. So he wanted to kind of just get all the callers calling in there. So that used, I think, like 40,000. So we realistically are probably going to use like 100,000 of it, but the extra 50 is so that we can kind of test out new markets, I would say.
And then for reference, we're touching every lead like 3 to 4 times before they're moved out of our pipeline.
What do those cold callers cost you per month?
So it all varies, but right now our average, let's say, is $475 an hour. But like some of our guys come in that are really, really good. Like we have guys that can send leads over with good ARVs. Like they're really, really good on the phone, to where that first phone call is almost a qualifying call. So they're at 5, but let's say our average right now is $475 an hour.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. And so they get the lead, they kind of set an appointment, and then someone else gets on the phone like you guys to actually close the sale. Is that how it works?
Exactly. So essentially the lead comes in, it pops up in our CRM with typically, do they want to sell? If it comes through, they do. Motivation, general condition, and then a good time to speak again. Sometimes we get asking price if they want to give asking price, but that's not too heavy, because one thing we've come to realize is the price initially is just the price. If you can make the seller understand, a lot of times you can, work on that. But we get all that information. It pops up in our CRM. We look at it. We then reach out to the seller, give them a phone call, and take them through our sales process from there.
Cool.
Yep.
Man, that's an unbelievable amount of success to have at the age of what, 20? I guess 20 years old.
I'm 20. He's 19.
19, no.
Golly.
What
do you have
you
any
guys...
friends that are doing anything close to what you guys are doing?
So believe it or not, all the friends that are doing everything are in here. So like the guy that we added last week, 3 weeks ago, he was doing the exact same thing separate.
Yeah.
So I planted a seed like 6 months ago. His name's Landon. I planted a seed like 6 months ago. I brought him into the office. He got to see the culture of other guys that are younger doing the same thing he's doing. But he was already working by himself, making good money wholesaling by himself. So he was like, I don't know if I want to. Then like a month ago, he hit me up like, all right, let's talk about it. So came in, our commission's really, really high. So he's making the same amount of money because he's not going to be dispoing. All he's going to be doing is just acquiring. And he's not going to pay for his marketing. So it made financial sense for him. He added in. So almost everyone in here that is like our age doing what we're doing, they're working with us. So.
Yeah. And just a side note to that, John, actually, so I'm still in college too. I'm finishing it out because my parents just really want me to. And, it's also easy to balance right now because I'm already pretty far along, but because I'm in my sophomore year.
Do your parents know how successful you are in the real estate world?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But they still just want me to.
There will be signs. They did pull up in a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, for me, like I'm still in college too, and my mom is completely retired, everything, and she still no shot, 0% chance. You know what I mean? Like for us, because our parents are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Everyone else has dropped out in the office, so it's literally just us that remain.
Mm-hmm.
But our parents are both in the same thing. You already started. Finish it. You're already right there. But the good thing is we're both majority almost all online.
Yeah, because and I'm a sophomore, but I'm standing as a junior. I'm almost going to graduate, so it's like I might as well just finish because it didn't become this successful until now.
Do you plan to use your degree in something?
Yeah, I'm getting it in business management.
Okay,
fitting.
And then I'm getting mine major finance, minor economics.
Okay.
But you're both majors in wholesaling, so
exactly.
Yeah,
that's the way I like it. That's the way I like it.
What's like an average assignment fee for you guys in Ohio?
We actually just ran it. I can give you the exact number, but it's let's say 7,500. We have a really good buyer in Akron, Canton that's really pushing our fees.
No, yeah, it's kind of skewing the data.
Yeah, like I got this HUD I can show it to you guys. We did a $20,000 fee on a $45,000 purchase price.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
it's 20,000. Nice.
Yeah, but like
but you guys had a 13 deal month last month. That's $97,500, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Minus $599 from the data from us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then you got 40 cold callers at $4 an hour.
Yeah.
So
let me pull this up. We're at 30. Let me pull this up for you. I have all the costs actually.
So let me do the math here. So, for $50 an hour would be equivalent to, 100,000 a year. I think that's how it works. You like add some zeros and divide by
I
2.
mean, I can tell you what our cost was. So last month on the we made a little bit over 100. On the 100 we made, we the rent for our current office space 25, Wi-Fi $200. Our VA salary, we're almost at $26,000 on our 30 VAs with an average of 475 an hour. And
Yeah, it's
then,
like 640 a month for one person.
exactly. And then
25,000 total if you have 40.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then we have our Kickseat dialer subscription, which is about $5,000, and then our CRM, which is super cheap, and then like you said, your $599 a month DealMachine. So our expense came out to about $33,000 last month, and then
Yeah. Man, that is awesome, guys. Congratulations.
thank you.
How did you find your cold callers from Egypt? That's normally
So-
I'm hearing
Or,
Philippines.
Yeah, so one of our guys in our office, his name's Eli. He's like a super online guy.
yeah.
So like he's actually when I got me to start doing social media. He's like a super online guy. So at first we were outsourcing the cold calling to VA companies, right? Which essentially they're actual cold call hubs in Egypt. They work with their VAs. You pay them. They give you cold callers. But with that, we didn't have direct access to our virtual assistant, so we weren't able to train them on the way that we like the process to be handled. So then Eli was just like he's the type of guy where if he sees something he doesn't like, he's off it. You know what I mean? So he was like, bro, I'm not like this. I'm not like this. I'm not like this. Every day saying it. We're like, all right, bro, let's try and find a solution. So he just goes on Facebook, makes a post on Facebook. It's like 100 VAs comment looking for work, like side work. So then we go through, we're listening to them. A lot of them are bad, but then we found one good one.
Yeah.
And then, no, we found, I want to say 3 good ones. And they all have friends that are also solid.
How'd you figure out if they were good?
Yeah.
So we listen to their phone
yeah.
calls like a lot. So
Yeah,
when
so
a
have them
VA
make some calls and then just listen to the
Exactly.
recording. Yeah.
Right, but the biggest thing is like because they always all sound good on the very first phone call, or like they get through the process. But then you start listening to random phone calls. Like the way that we decipher it out, because this is an issue we run into a lot. Like we just have to fire a couple because of this.
Yeah.
They'll just get on the dialer and just get their dials and putting in no work. So we had a VA. A lead picks up the phone. They say nothing. All they say is hello, and then the VA is like hello. And then she's going to ask the seller, who is this? Right. So it's like her mind was completely elsewhere. But it's little things like that determine good from bad. Because in our opinion, everything else outside of work ethic can be taught. So it's literally just the commitment to what we have going on, constantly coming into work, and then stable Wi-Fi is a big one. So
Yeah, because they have a lot of shutouts, blackouts
Yeah.
is what they call it, but I mean,
Exactly.
complete wipeouts of the Wi-Fi, and then none of them can call.
Yeah.
That only happens like once every 2 weeks, though.
Yeah.
Maybe twice. I mean,
Got it.
but it happens sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And since they're like our main marketing strategy, we're like, we really need to be on them. So, but yeah, we have a couple of really, really good VAs, like really, really good. So
That's awesome, guys. I'm so happy to be able to talk with you guys, learn about this. It's inspiring. I thought I was good, becoming a millionaire at 29, but you guys are going to be doing $1 million in revenue, it looks like, this year, and y'all are 20. You can't even drink yet. So it's awesome. It's humbling. It's great. It's great to get to know you guys. So really
Absolutely.
appreciate it, being able to help you out with the data stuff too. So what are you guys looking forward to most? Like, where does your mind even go? For me, I spent all my 20s saving money aggressively. And then by the time I finally came into some money through, years of hard work, I had, then I just kind of I had to spend a lot of money just to kind of get it out of my system.
Yeah.
What the heck are you guys? Because you're right. You know what I mean? It's like you have the money now. What are you guys doing? What are you excited about?
I mean, I can go.
Yeah.
What I'm honestly most excited about is seeing, because this is our first office, right? And we have under 10 guys, right? So I'm really excited to see once this office is kind of hit its max, once we get an office in Florida, Texas, Indiana, Illinois, all the different states that we kind of want to start, even Pennsylvania, we started wholesaling there as well. But I would love to see like offices all over the place and just kind of taking over the industry and being the lead wholesaling company in the entire country, honestly. I mean, it sounds far from, but still, that's what we'd like to get to.
That's our goal, exactly.
So that's what I'm most excited about. I mean, obviously, it's like with social media and everything, they show like the fancy cars and the yachts and stuff like that. But I honestly just want to see our team grow. I think we've been through stuff as a group and we've overcame it. So I really want to see us grow and grow and grow and just become bigger every year.
Exactly. Because the same thing. I mean, we're all so young in here. Like there's still a lot of immaturity. Like that's one thing we've really been trying to hone on is like minimizing the immaturity in the office, because when you got a whole bunch of like 19 to 20-year-olds running around making good money every single month, the distractions are like infinite. You know what I mean? So we're really, really trying to limit that down. Like we even just implemented a new rule in the office to where it's like, 'cause we have like a lounge area. No one's allowed to be there except from 1 to 2 o'clock, because we'll spend our time just in there. Now we're talking about the Lakers game last night. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. 3 hours just go by like this. And then we're taking a lot of trips. So we just really honed in on, all right, we're going to really focus, treat us like a real business and attack it like, we're 30-year-old men, because we're in a space where we're competing against, you know what I mean? Those of that age. But I think for me, in regards to like where we see ourselves or how we want to spend the money, a lot of us right now are flipping. So I started flipping, like I want to say a year ago when I bought my very first flip. So just continuing to get stuff going, flipping a little bit on the side. We're not like mass flippers because of course we're wholesaling. So maybe 8 to 10, 12 deals a year max on flips. But then, just partnering with different guys in the office on different things. Like I'm soon to start my very first new construction, like build to sell. So this stuff like that is where I see us putting our money, at least in the next like 6 months, hopefully. And then of course, that still do the vacations and things like that. But
yeah. Well, it sounds like a very mature thing of you to say. That's funny. You're saying you're not mature, but that's mature to self-realize and put rules.
You guys are ahead of your age for sure.
Have you guys found a group or a mastermind that you've really enjoyed or it's helped you develop some of that maturity?
Yeah. I mean, so one guy in Columbus that's really helped us is, I'm not sure if you guys know him, but Tommy Har, he's in Columbus.
Yeah.
He actually got going a little younger as well. So he understood all the possible distractions. Like when you're making money at this age, there's so many different things you can do, because it's like, you feel like you're on top of the world. And that's something that we all ran into. But the good thing was, I feel like our biggest mastermind and group is ourselves, right? So surrounding yourself by people who we're all about the same age. We're all making good money. Our biggest accountability is each other, right? Because yes, we do like to have fun. Yes, we do like getting stuff like this weekend. We all went out, had a good time, but then we just came back and spoke to each other like, all right, as a collective group, we all want to achieve this goal, whatever that goal may be. Like we all want to, let's say, be millionaires, make 100 million, because we all like dream high. So it's like, okay, if we want to get there, this is not how we get there. This is not how we got to where we are now. So in order for us to, keep advancing, we got to stay locked in, stay focused. So that's the same thing Tommy told me as well. Like, and another thing that he really helped us with was tailoring down, because when I started getting things going, I was trying to do everything. But then he told me, like, BJ, you're really good at wholesale. You know what I mean? Like, you can still flip, you can still do the rentals, but like, if you really focus your time on one thing, really knock it out, I think sky's the limit. And then when you are my age, you can just lend money. So things like that.
Man, that's awesome. I'm so glad you've got Tommy in your corner. He was actually on our podcast, episode 203, which was about 7 months ago, Ryan. Now we're at episode 350. But yeah, so his is 203, the pullback method that makes you $8,000, which was a strategy, I believe, during the sales process. So guys, check that out. And BJ, Ethan, I'm going to send you guys some swag, and really appreciate you guys being on the podcast. It was really, really cool to hear how successful you guys have already been. So if there's anything else I can do to help, or Ryan, let us know. But congratulations.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I really love being on it. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.